Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you. So, can you please confirm how should I call you? Luana?
Yes, that's okay. One
Okay,
is good.
that's good. So, Luana, let's make use of the time here. So,
Okay.
I will introduce you a bit to some studying techniques. Typically, I summarize my students about them, and it takes almost like 40 to 50% of the class, but since you're in a hurry, so I would focus only on the techniques that you will really make use of. So
Okay.
you need some techniques, especially when you're dealing with programming and if you're finding difficulty with programming. So I will skip some of the uh, techniques that I typically teach my children or my students. Sorry, I apologize, my students. So I would say that you, let me see. Okay, so um, what do you see in front of your eyes here? Did you ever use a book index before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so we do it to search for a book for specific keywords, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do you know that our brain have also something called memory index? Did you ever know that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I did know that.
okay. So okay, I will also come short here so we don't talk too much in unnecessary things. This, you have two parts of in your brain that is important. The working memory. So this working memory is in use at the moment when you are listening to me. And this is a very
Mhm.
temporary and short memory. So it cannot keep the information for long. So, and we have something called permanent memory. And this permanent memory um, is actually in this area of the brain. It is a very thin layer like that. And the one who acts as a middleman between your working memory and your permanent memory is something called hippocampus. So this hippocampus, there is two of them. They try to orchestrate and organize the information that you receive from your working memory and store them, or sometimes they say they teach the permanent memory, which is a slow learner, about the information that you are learning. So what can you make use of this information? Um, One important thing is that you need every 10 to 15 minutes of studying or listening to a lecture, or even in a classroom, you need 1 or 2 minutes of silence every 10 to 15 minutes of work. Okay, so if you are listening to a lecture, even if you're studying alone, you need that 1 or 2 minutes. Why? Because this hippocampus gets saturated with information in 10 to 15 minutes. That differs definitely between children, so, or students. So some of them are very smart and they need, maybe they can last for 20 minutes. Some of them can only last for 10 minutes. So it depends. It depends on the capacity. So human minds are not always the same. So there is a difference between human and another. Um, did you catch what I mean here?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's excellent. So let me move to the next. Okay. Um, can you recognize, or did you even see that images before, or do you know what it what it want to say here?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
So okay, what I want to say that did you ever see an image like that before?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you understand from the image?
Sorry. You asked me if I've seen an image like that before,
And you have
like
seen it.
this one,
So you have seen it
like
before.
this one.
Yeah,
No, I haven't.
you haven't. Okay. So what I want to say here that this is the image of your brain after it do something called information consolidation. And this is when you start to learn something new. So this uh, um, is result in this after a few weeks, sometimes in months. So the information start to consolidate and start to have a very strong connection to each other um, after, let's say, weeks, sometimes months, like I said, but it only happens when you are sleeping. So a good night's sleep every day, not only the day before the exam, is very important to consolidate the information that you study newly. Everything you learn new, it takes weeks and months to really build a strong connection. So this connection means that you're able to brainstorm new ideas. You're able to solve exercises in a perfect manner. So again, this is a skill that, or how to say, yeah, it's a kind of skill that your brain, or abilities that your brain gain by time. Based on what? If you do always, if you always have a good night's sleep. Okay, so that is one thing. Second thing is, so you might consider that, okay, if I'm studying computer science, it will not affect my brain abilities when I am learning history, or even when you are learning geography, or even when you are doing math. But there's research say that everything you learn actually connect together inside your brain. And everything useful that you learn, of course, not videos, not funny TikTok videos. So if you learn something that is beneficial, math, geography, whatever, they all improve the ability of your brain, the ability to brainstorm, the ability to solve exercises. So that does not focus on a specific subject, but it helps your brain in general. So the general performance of your brain improve when you learn. Okay? Does this make sense to you?
It does make sense.
Okay, that's good. So let us also hurry to the next. So let me move from here. Let us focus on this. I would say your brain, or everybody, a human brain, works in two modes. At the moment when you are listening to me, we are both using our focused thinking mode, which is good, not bad. But there is another mode that most of the people does not know how to use it, which is the diffuse thinking mode. And why is it important? Because it helps us to solve exercises. It helps us to find solution for problems, especially difficult problems. And how can we trigger that? That is one thing that I will tell you. And how to use that in exams, also I will tell you about that. So when you face a problem or an exercise that you're not able to solve, don't keep stuck with that problem for more than 30 minutes. You try in 30 minutes. If you cannot find a solution, stop what you're doing, and then try to trigger the diffuse mode through relaxing, go to take shower, go to walk beside the sea. Just empty your mind from any thinking. Don't think about anything. Maybe you can sit on your chair, close your eye, think about nothing. By doing so, you are triggering actually the diffuse thinking mode. Okay, so you do that for 20, 30 minutes, then attempt to try to solve the problem or the exercise or the questions that you did not manage to solve in the first time. So this is not in the exam. So this is, you do it when you're not in the exam. But how to trigger the diffuse thinking mode while you are in exam? Did you ever study processors? How the processor of the computer works?
Yes, I did last year.
Okay, good. So did you learn about dual processing or dual core?
Did I learn about what? Sorry.
Dual core or dual
Yes,
processing?
I did. I did.
Okay, so dual processing means that there is two parts of the computer or the processor that are working at the same time and processing information or executing instructions. Is that clear to you?
It is clear, yes.
Okay, so you are able to trigger a part of the brain to work as if it is a dual processing, in a dual processing mode. How is it done? So you are able to trigger the diffuse thinking mode if you go to the exam and then mark every part, every question that is difficult. And then you try to start with difficult questions. And then when you do that, definitely because it is difficult, you will get stuck somewhere. When you are stuck, leave the question as it is, and then, but this should be done when you go through all the questions first before you even start attempting to solve any. And then you start to select one difficult question, you start to find a solution for it or try to write some answers for it. And then when you are stuck, leave it. Go to answer one of the easy questions. When you do that, you're triggering this diffuse thinking mode in your brain, and it will try to find solution for the difficult question while you are actually solving easy questions. So it is like dual processing. You are making your brain working in dual processing mode. So you are solving with your focus mode an easy question, and your brain is trying to find solution for the difficult problem. This is done automatically without you interfering, without you feeling it. Okay. So, but you just need the technique to trigger that mode. Okay. Did I make it clear?
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's good. I will move to, yeah. So there is a technique that's called a study technique that is called interleaving study technique. Did you hear about it before?
Never heard about it.
Okay, so there is interleaving studying technique saying that we should not dedicate, we have theoretical part and we have practical part in this A level, right? So I would say the brain likes it when you so if you have a study session that is maybe 2 hours. So you say today I would like to study the computer science A level for 2 hours. And it is good for your brain. The brain likes it when you divide this 1 hour into two sections or two sessions, which is one for practical, one for theoretical. And you even can divide those into different sections. So it means that even when you are studying practical, don't focus on a single chapter. So it means that, okay, you can say maybe chapter 1 and maybe chapter 6 and chapter 2 and chapter 8. This is just an example. When you interleave when you target different skills in your brain, in your study, the brain likes it. The brain likes it when you mix topics together. You are like challenging your brain, and he start to find relations between the topics that you are actually studying. That is one thing. Second thing is, if you say that I have many subjects to study, and this A-level computer should actually maybe be studied 5 hours a week, okay? So I would recommend that this 5 hours is not on one day. The best is that you divide that among the week, maybe 3 days among the week, 4 days among the week. The more you space the repetition and you fix it in a way that it is not far from each other, it is better for your brain, because that help your brain to so you are like trying to tell your brain this is an important information by revisiting it frequently. So did I make it? So I talk about two different things here. Interleaving technique, which is dividing a single session into studying different topics. And I also talk about if you have a total hours that you dedicate to a subject, do not fix that on one day, which is you make them on a few days. And in each day, let's say you make 2 hours session, so you focus on different topics. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does. Makes sense.
Okay. Did you understand what I say? I need to slow down a bit. I need to make it
No, you
fast.
don't. No, the space is good.
Okay, that's good. So I will move from here, and then I will try to check with you. We go little by little into Python from the start. Do you need me to go from the start, or so should I start from talking about variables and constants, basic data types, input and output, or maybe something like if and for loops? Where do you want me to start?
I already know variables and constants and basic data
Okay.
types and
Uh,
input and output.
Okay.
So I guess we can start from,
For if statements and for loops, what about those?
I also know those already.
Okay, so you know how to use, okay, that's excellent. So what about arrays? Do you want me to talk about arrays?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
But no, actually, we can do if statements first. Sorry.
okay,
Yes.
no problem. Okay, so yeah, this is, I mean, I'm not, so don't consider this as a lecture that this is the aim of what we are doing now is for me to understand. You don't need to hide anything. The more you are open
Okay.
to me, the more I understand your weakness, and I'm able to focus on that during the class. So at the
Mhm.
end of the day, I'm not an examiner. I'm here to push you forward. So the more you are open about what you understand and what you don't understand, um, so at the end, I'm able to help you, and don't be shy. That is the most
Okay.
important thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, selection. Yeah. Okay. So I think you already know that selection or if statements is that when we have two possible
Mhm.
choices, and we use an if to be able to make our code a little bit smart and decide an output based on the if statement. So let us take this code. Do you understand what this code is telling us?
Equals to input. It's trying to the decide whether or not you're a kid or you're an adult based on your age.
Excellent. So how many, how many selections or possible output that we have?
Two.
Okay, yes, in this case, the code say it is two, but okay, let us look at it. So we are talking about you are 18, the age is 18 years, right? So here, this is a condition, right? You can recognize it.
Yes.
Okay, so actually, in the reality, this condition can have three possible results, which is the age is equal to 18, the age is bigger than 18, the age is smaller than 18. In this code, we target only if it is bigger or smaller, because we never here put an equal, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yes.
okay, that is one thing. So that's why you see us using if and else only. So whenever this condition can only result into two choices, we use if and else. But if we have three possibilities, like this case, maybe it is more accurate to actually use else, if. Do you know how to use if?
No, I don't.
Okay, that is a good answer. Um, so let me also explain to you. Did you ever use replit? Most of the,
Rep.
yeah.
No, I've never used
Oh,
Replit.
okay. So, well, okay, let me please, because this is important. We cannot learn programming with just only by looking uh, with your eyes and expect that, okay, because if you never write a code, then the code will, your brain will never deeply understand how the code really works. And after maybe 1 hour, you will get saturated and we will never go anywhere. It will not be something good. So let me share with you. You are able to make an account here free. So do you see here? Let me try to point out. So do you see here this?
Yes,
So
Replit.
yeah, so this is Replit. You're able to make a free account. Just
Okay.
yeah. So and I will take you in. In the next class, I will take you on the steps. Just make the free account. I will take you in the steps how to make something called repo, and where you are able to store all the files that you or the code that you write, and how to
Okay.
actually execute a code here. So like I told you before, this is hands-on, which means that every code that I explained to you, you have to write it. And when you write it,
Okay.
you have to run it. And we will talk about the tricks on how to debug a code and how to find errors, how to solve errors, and how to really understand how a certain code is really working. Because, like I told you, your brain, by only looking at the code, I mean, now it is simple. If and else, quite simple. But when we talk about other codes, sometimes you will not be able to really deepen your understanding unless you write it with your own hand. Okay, I mean, this is by experience with my students. So that is what I saw, even with the slow learners. You are not a slow learner, right?
No, I'm
Okay,
not.
that's good. Okay, that's excellent. So let me go back. So definitely today, maybe since you did not register, so we will not write unless it is a complicated code. We will not write anything on Replit. I just share with you what we plan to do in the next classes. And
Okay.
okay, so did you ever learn about case of the use of case of
Yes.
in
Hazel.
pseudocode,
Yes.
right? So there is no
Pseudocode.
yes. So there is no case of or similar code like that do the same in Java. There is nothing. Sorry, in Python. We only have it in Java. So this switch statement and this case of is almost equivalent, but you are not studying Java. You are only studying Python, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the only way to simulate the case of is to do elif. So, okay, look at here. This code is trying to make you enter a grade and you save this grade into a variable. And the variable is called grade. So, okay. Have you seen this kind of statement before, right? You really
Yes, I
understand?
have.
Okay, that's good. So again, we are testing the grade against many possible choices, A, B, C, and D. So since I mean, the grade can be different choices, more than two, so we cannot only use if and else. We have to use elif. So we said first, if the grade is equal A, and A is a string, so we print excellent. And we test another condition. What is the other condition? The condition say if the grade is B, then we print this. And then we test again. So if this is executed, none of those will get executed. So we will stop once we print excellent here. We will just run out and execute the next line outside the if else. Okay, so is this understandable to you, or this is
Yes, it is.
okay? So okay, again we are testing here to see if the grade is equal C. We will print that. Whenever you print and execute when any of these statements, or we can say it in another way, if any of this condition is true, so we will execute the statement under it and we will totally exit the if. So this happened here and happened also from this print and happened also in this print. So again, by talking about this code, the brain will never really understand how it works. So you will discover that you don't really understand it if I give you an exercise. So if you don't write the code with me, and when we don't test it, we don't change on it, then I give you an exercise, you find that, oh, as if you didn't learn anything. So do you understand why he didn't put an else here? Or why he is putting an else actually? Any idea why he is putting an else?
I think he put else instead of else if, just in case there's any other inputs that do not fit into the ones that are
Excellent.
already
That
here,
is
like
excellent
A.
answer. Yes, that is excellent answer. Yes. Okay, that's great. That is great. So did you understand now when I should use if and else, and when should I use if and elif?
Yes, I have understood.
Okay, that is good. Let me try to move. Did you ever learn about the modulus? Do you know what?
Modulus.
Yeah. So it is called mode in pseudocode.
Yes, yes, I have. Yes.
Okay. So it in pseudocode it looks like this, and in Python it looks like this. Okay. So this
Okay.
exercise or the task is telling me that I would like to enter a number, to make the user enter a number, and I will save that number to a variable. And then I want to make use of the modulus to know that to know if the number that the user already inputted is actually an even or an odd number. So let me just give some hints. So let us assume that this is a variable name that the user already input to our program. So I supposed to write input like that. Okay, but I will just assume here that this number is 5. So to know if this number, because definitely the program does not really understand, so we would like to know if this number is actually odd or even, we make it modulus with 2. So do you know how the modulus work, right? I don't need to explain it.
Yes, I do from
Oh,
pseudocode.
okay, perfect. So this will produce 2 different possible outputs based on this is even or odd. So we will produce 0 if the number is even. And we will produce 1 if the number is actually odd. So based on that, based on your understanding here, you should be able to write a condition and use the condition inside an if and decide if you would like to use an else or not. But wait, I will have a discussion here. So I will stop sharing here and I will go to the coding. Typically, I don't write code too much during the class. It is you that write, but never mind here. So I would say that input num equal input. Okay, I would say enter a number. Okay, and I will say print num modulus 2, and I will say, like, did you ever write some code like that before? Like line number 3.
Like in Python, no.
Okay, so, okay, first of all, when we are entering a number, is that correct statement?
Num is equals to... Yes, I think so.
Okay, so let me try to comment that, and let me try to print num, and I multiplied by 2. Let me see what will happen. Okay, so let me put 5. I press enter. Do you see what's happening?
Yes, it's not correct.
Yes, he print to me 55. Why? Because there is a strong reason here. So the strong reason is that whenever you input something from the screen or using the keyboard here, this is actually saved in num in a string format, which means that it is having double quotation before it. So when I said print num, and he already saved this 5 inside num, so this will do what? So he will treat that as a string. So when he multiplied by 2, he is going to double it, which means that he will going to replicate that 5 and make 2 5s. What if, so to prove to you that what I'm saying is correct, I will say here 3. Then let me put 5 again and see what is the output. So do you see now I have 3 5s?
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
so it is a string. So he's dealing it with it as a string and he is tripling it. Okay, but okay, if I save the input or I convert the input into an integer using this method. So just be aware that pseudocode does not really care too much about conversions because it's not a real programming language, right?
Yes.
So if when this is a method, you give it an input, a string that it is in a number or an integer format. So this is considered a string that can be converted to an integer. You cannot pass it A and expect it to that it convert that to an integer. No, that is wrong. This is correct. So I pass an input to integer and it gets me what? It gets me a real integer without a string. A real integer that I'm able to do any arithmetic operation on it. Okay, is that clear?
Okay. It's
Okay,
clear, yes.
so now let us try it. So after I put an int, I will give you more example on how this int works, but let us try first and see. If I put 5, will that result in 15? Yes. So now he already do the arithmetic operation of multiplying 5 by 3. And this results in 15. Is that clear to you or difficult?
It is clear to me.
Okay. Do I need to give you more examples and more proof that how this int work? So I'm able to say int here, I pass it a string like that, and then I make it multiplied by 2, for example, and see how it works. So I put here the same 5, it will give me 15. Now, did you see what happens when I put? So I pass an input to this int method. I pass it an input, and it will provide to me an output converting this 100, which is at the moment is a string. It will convert it to an integer, 100, multiply by 2, and then print the output, which is 200. Is that clear to you? Does this
It
add
is
to
clear.
your understanding, or I don't
Yes.
need to do extra explanation in general?
No, you don't. I just have a question. Why is the fourth line of the code not rhyming?
Not working.
Yes.
So I make it not working because I put the hash before it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I commented that line. I prevent it from working. Why I prevent it? Because I wanted first to understand if you understand this portion before I move to here. Okay.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
the last thing that we're going to explain today in our short class is that I will comment this and focus on this, which is actually our target in the exercise. So I will comment this because I do need them. So the point here, again, I will put a number and see if this or what actually this produce. There is also a simple way. We can start with a simple way, and then we build our knowledge on top. So we can say, I put here a 5, I press enter, I see 1. So 5 modulus 2 give me 1. Okay, what if I run again? And then I enter 4. It give me 0. So now I start to notice that when I put here an even number, which is 4, the result of this operation is 0. And when I put 5, the result was 1. So is this the same result will happen with every even number? Yes. So if I put here 1000, I press enter, it gives me 0. If I run again and put an odd number, 1001, I press enter, it also gives me 1. So this is the same. So it means that this is a tool that is very important to actually make me know a number is even or odd. So how can we do that? We can change this by actually putting here this equal 0. So what is going to be printed out? It's not, first of all, did you understand what I'm saying so far?
Yes, yes, I understand.
Okay, so now I am changing the output that will be printed to me into two things, either true or false. How is that happening? Because I converted that into a condition, and a condition result in true and false. How I did that? By putting the equality check. So this is not equal. This is two equals, and two equals means that I am checking if this part is actually equal this part. So there's two portion, part here and here, and I'm checking the equality. So equality check will result in true and false. So let us have a look. So I'm checking if this part is equal 0. If it is equal 0, it means that it is an even number. So again, is that simple, or I mean, should I go faster in, or it is understandable, or how?
Understandable. Yes, I'm understanding.
Okay, so if I put 10, so that will result in true. If I run and put 11, I press
False.
enter, it gives me false. So it means that this is a correct format of a condition. If I put it in an if statement, I'm able to print out based on the true and false that appears from that condition, if the number is even or odd. So that is actually a partial solution for the exercise. I take you in a step-by-step approach to do that. If you are, I mean, if you are not slow learner and you are able to understand concept fast, then I'm able to jump a bit with you. But definitely there should be exercises that you answer either in the class or even at home. So every time we have a class, you must solve a homework exercise, and we must discuss it on the second class. This is the only way that I have noticed that it is effective with my student, especially with programming, either Java or Python or any language. This is the only way to learn. If you don't practice, and if I don't see how you write code, I will never understand your weakness. I'll never understand. So it is like no feedback. I got no feedback about your understanding and where is the maybe parts that need improvement. So this is in short our demo class.
Okay.
Was it understandable to you? Did you understand it?
Yes, very understandable.
Okay, okay. So maybe yeah, because I'm not, my mother tongue is not English, so maybe there is certain words that is not very clear, I believe, but I hope that in general everything is clear or understandable.
I understood everything that you said.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, then do you have any other questions to me before we close?
No, not right now. I don't have any questions.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, then see
Okay.
you later. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, but oh, sorry, I do have a question.
Yeah, okay, sure.
On the website, it give a range of prices that you charge per hour. It didn't give an exact price.
Yes,
So
true.
what would
So,
be
okay,
example in this case?
I don't want to make it difficult to you, but it depends on actually many things. So if you are not a slow learner, so it means that I don't really need to write even custom slides for you. So I can just use the typical slides that I use with other students. So so far from what I see, you are not a slow learner. So it should be okay if I charge you towards the average or the middle, but it's also depend on the payment method, because some payment method actually have somehow kind of fees that got deducted. So are you using Wise? Do you use Wise, or do you have a Wise account?
I'm not, I will have to ask my parents how they can make the payment.
Okay, so the only thing that really have a high fee on me, if I need to send you an invoice and you pay it by card, because I'm using PayPal business, which is somehow, I don't want to complicate you with the matter, but anyhow, the PayPal fees is quite high. So I just might, so let's say I might charge you something between 21 and 22 or 22 USD per hour. But then never mind about the fees. Forget about the fees. It's only 3% and never mind. It's okay. I will not talk about the fees. So let's assume it's something like 21 or 22 USD per hour. That is just to
Okay.
make it clear to you. Okay.
So I'll just talk to my parents about how they can transfer the money and I'll let you know.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Take
Thank
care.
you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.